Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the True Norm Speaker Series. First, I would like to say Happy New Year to everybody. I hope things are going amazing for you in this new year of 2024. I hope you have did all your vision boards and have goals and plans for this year. And I'm thinking and hoping and praying that they all come true. This moment, I have the awesome opportunity to interview no other than Shakeva Frazier.
Hello.
A lot of you guys know Shakeva from the community, but most of all, we now going to introduce you to the world, Shakeva, the world. So everybody in Danville know you and have the awesome opportunity to know what you bring to the table. Now the rest of the world will get to see some of the amazing things that go on in Danville through Shakeva Frazier's eyes. So are you ready?
I guess.
Okay, so with everybody that I interview, one of the first questions I always ask, you tell me, who is Shakeva Frazier?
Shakeva Frazier is a young lady with a mind that runs, that loves people and loves life.
Okay, okay, what you mean by a mind that runs? Because I like that.
Okay.
I'm going to put that in my flow, but go ahead.
Ever thinking, ever wondering.
Oh, okay.
Always backtracking in my mind, did I do it right? Can I get it right? Can't go back and fix it, so can I do it better the next time? Wonder what they're doing over there. I wonder, can I do this right here? Wonder. Always just ever thinking. You could do different areas, but it's just my mind, even in my sleep it thinks.
Okay.
Yeah, it runs.
Yeah, I have that issue too. My husband's like, you be just talking in your sleep.
Yeah, really, so that's who I am.
Okay, a lot of us know you talk about where you came from and the things you're doing now and where you want to be. But what was that turning point in your life when you say, I want something different than my current situation?
Okay.
What was that turning point when you wanted different?
Okay. So to answer that honestly, it's been many turning points.
I love it.
So, the major turning point to get me to where I'm at now, though, was the turning point when I got tired of disappointing my children and myself. And the turning point was really I wanted to just die. That was the turning point. But God let me live, And so from then I tried to give back. But it's always turning points. Even before that turning point, it was be like slow turning points to get me to that major one when I finally just got tired of living that way that I was living. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Be certain moments where I'd be like, this ain't for me. What you doing, Frazier? You know what I'm saying? And so I would try to find a new way to cope with situations that didn't involve drugs, drinking, and things like that. Then there'd be another turn. And then one day I was just all turned out. And so I just, and there was the point when I couldn't turn anymore.
Yeah.
I was all the way through.
And tell me, and I'm gonna take a deeper dive, tell me what that feel like. Because a lot of times people say, I just woke up and made a decision that I wanted something different. And that's fine and dandy, but can you tell us what's deeper than that? Because a lot of people say, I just don't know.
Okay. So you mean to that point where it's just no return?
When you say this.
Yes. So
what does that feel like? Because I know a lot of people, when we start talking about mental health and depression and anxiety and suicide, what is this for you? What was this?
I had nothing else to do. I couldn't go anywhere else. I had been back and forth to schools. I had been continuing to have children, messing up jobs, messing up money, losing places I was living at, losing my vehicles. So at that point of tiredness for me, it was more or less, it was nowhere else to go.
Gotcha.
Not even in life. So that's why I said I wanted to die.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see any other doors to knock on. It was no more opportunity.
Right.
You know how when you at the last to it's no more people you can ask. It's no more places, any more places you can go. No one else who want to hear your story again because they tired of you saying you tired because this stuff usually lasts for a while.
Yeah.
So really, when I went home that night and prayed with my children, I went home asking God to take me, but I was making peace with my children that night.
Ooh.
That's what I called myself doing, making peace, telling them, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the times I didn't show up. I'm sorry for the times you stood at this screen door and waited for me and I didn't come. I'm sorry for those times that I went to school and I didn't finish. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. But I was praying to leave after that.
Right.
I thought God was going to go ahead and take me, right? But he didn't. The next morning I woke up. I didn't go out.
Right.
And I went to a church that was Friday, then Saturday I didn't go out. Sunday I went to a church. I took my family with me, dressed in my regular street clothes.
Right.
And the lady said, a change coming your way. She know me, you know what I'm saying? And so that's how it started. But I was praying to die. So
Wow.
that was my, I had nothing else. I was sick of me. I didn't even want to look at me anymore. Sick of me, sick of what I became, didn't see a way to undo it or make it right again. So that was my, I was just tired. Just go ahead and take me now, Jesus, because it ain't nothing else for me.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said it, because a lot of people say, you just going to wake up one morning, but I think in this moment, you took a deeper dive into it of what it looked like. Because I know what it looked like for me.
Right.
When I made a decision that life wasn't worth living.
Right.
And I can explain that, but a lot of times I struggle with explaining that when I made a decision, I am ready to live again.
Right.
That's the hard part. And not just waking up, but really want life, truth, honesty, and prosperity. You know, a lot of times we don't talk about those things. We just talk about it. It's like, your day gonna come, just keep praying about it. You know, I struggle when people say, just keep praying about it. We got to get to the root of this stuff and figure out what's the turning point and what does that look like. So thank you for sharing that. Mm-hmm. How did you balance that when you said, I'll make a turning point? Because we know a lot of times the fun life is an easy life.
That's right.
It's a struggle, but it's an easy life.
Because you don't have a care.
Yeah. Just ready for the next turn up.
Right.
So how did you start balance that when you was like, okay, I dropped out of college, but I'm not going to drop out this time.
Right.
I'm not going to quit this job. I'm going to work this job. I'm going to go. I'm not going to have my kids waiting at the screen door. I'm going to be present.
That's
and
right.
How did you do that? How do you balance all that?
It was a strange thing, and I have told this part of a testimony before. So, mind you, when I had my moment, I was still in the same house. And remember, just that week was turn up. The week before was turn up. The years was in the same place, right? So, you know, the next weekend come, so they wait for the turn up. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't.
And you are the life of the party, so
he's like, "What you ain't doing?" You know, I won't tell nobody. I turned down. I'm like, I'm regular grandma or something. You know, stuff. And then eventually, I couldn't keep running and hiding in the house, and I had to let people know I got saved. Like, you know, so that was a scary thing to do, because some people don't take my walk seriously, and especially in that way of life we was living. So I'm like, I found Jesus, like, for real, y'all, like, he came to see about me. My daughters pray. So what I done to help myself to balance that, I usually Saturdays are the times I'll be ready to go out. So I started kicking with Jesus. Okay. So I got saved 2009, March the 13th. Ooh. March the 13th, 2010, I had my first Kick It With Jesus outreach ministry. Okay. So I had a sign that I would put outside. I started in a church right across the street from me. And it said, Kick Addictions with Jesus. So that's Kick It. The addictions are it. And so the same place that will be the turn-up place ended up being a place where you could come and get some information about drugs. So it was the truth about drugs. And so that helped me, because I was there for a while. So they helped me to balance my life out, because what it done, it ran away those who weren't good for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so
and occupy the time, so that when their brain start wandering. Yeah.
I mean, my daughter's getting ready. We putting up food, the pamphlets, because we feed there. We have a word there. You know, they do a praise dance. So that was it. So that, you know, so that helped me to give me another sense. Also, the church I was going to, we were church all day and night. I used to party all day and night. So it was just like it tamed it in a better way, but it took it from their atmosphere to another one. Just changed partners, right? So eventually I began to learn how to stay in the house, but that was scary for me. I know you're talking about balance, but it was scary because then I had to start dealing with me while I was in the house, dealing with why did I go in that direction? And it caused me to have to go back to some memories of things that happened during childhood, things that people said to me, things that I experienced along the way. And I couldn't go get drunk to drink it off. Right. I couldn't go to the club and fight somebody to get that aggression off me. I had to lay on the floor and just begin to cry, oh, God, help me. Because now I'm facing pain and I can't numb it. Right. I can't fight it off. I can't drink it off because I'm determined. Because I already know I was tired. Right. So I don't want to go back to what you delivered me from, because I didn't know that was going to happen that night. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that I was going to never go back. You understand? Yeah. So this was all, I began to journal a lot. And I would journal because I didn't have anyone to talk to, and I'm still trying to raise my children, right? And deal with this new way of life. You know what I'm saying? All in the same place. And so my children were a big inspiration. They go back to school, Mom. Yeah. You know, So when they go off to school, I take my little baby with me down to DCC, do my work at the library. You know, I was doing online for RBC. Then I went down there. And I would say just life began to balance it out for itself. I don't have a step-by-step playbook. I just have what I've done in the process. Journaling was a big help. Breathing deep, having my moments to go in the bathroom and cry, you know, because it was rough trying to raise all my children on my own. And when I started kicking with Jesus, I had to make a choice because I had just signed up for welfare. I didn't get it when I was in the streets because I had to get money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now I'm sitting down, but I'm not getting money. I don't have a job, and I just had a baby, you see. So social service said, well, if you're going to get welfare, you have to work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And you can't go to school because there's school time, you see. So I said, well, I ain't going to get the welfare.
Right.
So now I'm sitting in the house with no welfare. You know what I'm saying? Trying to go to school and raise those children and not go crazy because money right there in the street. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Everything I need right outside the door.
Waiting.
And I know how to get it. And so it took a lot of meditation and trying to do other things. So going to school kind of helped me, even though it was a burden. It was a blessing because it kept me from going back down the street. So that's really how I balanced. That's all I can say. Church life balanced out for me because we had Wednesday night Bible study.
Right.
That kept me, because Wednesday night at Boulevard was late as night.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I can go and do that. So things just, the balance wasn't a step by step. It was just me occupying my time with stuff because I've always been a mover.
Right. So who were some of those people, when you say, oh, I'll go to the church or whatever, but in your mindset, who were some of those key integral people that was your support system throughout that time? And did they seek you out? Was it just happenstance that you walking by? Because I don't believe in coincidence. Right. But how did that all come about? Because a lot of times, even talking with some other people this past weekend, they were talking about finding that support system and what does that look like? What did it look like for you?
So my support system was one that had to be ordained because who I wanted around me wasn't. I still wanted the people who I hung with around me. And that wasn't the way it was going. I wanted to understand where I was at, what I was going through, and just try to still, because y'all who I know.
Yeah.
And so these are not, people that came around me were not who I picked out. These ladies would be very much older than me, and it'll always be, the Lord told me, look, God, I'm telling people to come to my door. You don't try to go out. I need one night out.
Just one night.
Just one night. I've been doing good. So it'd be like older ladies or, you know, you.
I know firsthand.
My spirit. Why is it business?
And look, I catch myself saying that now.
Where?
I always texting people, oh, you dropped in my spirit.
Somebody else dropped. So it'd be those kind of people who was in my way. And I was told to call you today. Thanks. You know, how you doing? Stay the course. So I had an Uncle Vic. My children were a strong support system and still are to this day. Because when I made that turn, they didn't say, well, Mom, we still like our music. They let me listen to Shirley Caesar all day. Yeah. So they didn't block. They wanted me so bad, they hung in there. Yeah. So I had my aunt, pastor, just strange people. Sometimes those people, how real can we get on your show?
Yes, real.
Oh, okay.
Real.
You know, sometimes back there hustling, walk by. Yeah. Keep it up, Shakeva. Yeah. I like this. Yeah. I like this you. This is what you're supposed to be in with your children. It was just weird motivation.
And a lot of times when I've been doing these interviews, I look at you guys' bio, your social media, and then what I know of you. I can say when I was talking with Kirsten, I was like, Kirsten, this is the one person that I know is the original to Danville if you was a poster kid of who don't supposed to make it. Yeah. And so whenever I see you, I always get cold chills. I always get cold chills because you defied everything. Jesus. Everything. Because you tell your testimony. It ain't nothing that I guess. You be telling your testimony. And I was like, at any moment, it could have been the other way.
Any other way.
Any other way. So how do you use that fuel from all that you went through, to catapult into your presence and the things that you want to do in the future? Because I try to tell people, you didn't go through it for no reason. Right. So how do you use all that to push you and drive you to who you are now, who you want to be?
By being open, Because what can happen is if I keep it to myself too long, I begin to think I actually worked real hard to get where I'm at and I deserve it and I don't owe nobody no explanation. But by me being open, it always reminds me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when I share it with the young people, it's not that I always want to share it. I want to be in a room and be the person everybody don't know about.
Right.
She was on drugs. She was a Drake. She got these baby daddies. And I want to be the person that can sit and they don't talk about. They can't bring my past up. But it's not that way for me. But the more I'm open with it, the more I be blessed by it. And I see other people get help from it. So that's what fuels me. That's how it fuels me because it lets me not forget. Something I did have an issue with, though, is because of the way I came up, my survival skills of fighting and different things, scheming, having to steal to eat, different things like that. So I come off aggressive.
Yeah.
But I'm a fighter. And so I had to stop trying to, what happened was once I came into these circles, my aggression's still there, but that's my instinct. That's what I got in me. So I had to learn that that's okay. I can't keep trying to water me down and make people comfortable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because this how I get where I get and this how I got where I got, even in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Just a natural fighter. So I had to learn that just because it's in my past, it don't make it all bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that
There's a lot of people to help me.
Yep.
That's why I'm still here from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been in shootouts like everybody else and great, different stuff. But it was that instinct and that fight in me that helped me through a lot of that. I ain't gonna lose it.
And that goes right into the next question. And this might be hard, I don't know, but we'll see.
Okay.
Why do you think you made it?
Well, I'm still trying to figure that out myself. So
Yeah.
I'm asking the Lord. I really do. And so if anybody ever go to my Facebook page, they will see I have a picture up there. I refuse to move it. It's a T-shirt I had made. It say "Purpose rules everything around me." Of course, Wu-Tang Clan, if you ever listen to Ghostface Killer. Shout out. They come from that cash rules everything around me, right? But when I got saved, it's just purpose. That's the only thing I could think. Maybe because the Lord knew I would tell my story.
Right.
Maybe because he knew I wouldn't hold it in and that I would keep that compassion. I wouldn't forget when I got to where he put me at.
Yep.
And that's the only reason I could think, because I ain't no better than nobody. I'm terrible. I ain't no better than anybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the only real reason I could think of.
And one thing I can give you that my mom gave me when I used to say, well, why me? And the first thing she used to tell me, why not?
Jeez.
Why not?
Why not you, LaShawn? Go ahead, entering all the damn.
Why not you, Shakeva? Right. So just throwing that out there.
Okay.
What advice would Shakeva now give to the adolescent Shakeva? That little girl, say 5 to 9 years old. What advice would you give her?
Well, I answered that question before. It didn't look kind of crazy, but I said I would tell her don't quit. But she didn't quit, and she healed. So now looking at it, I probably would tell her, because she probably will still have to go through what she's going through. It's not your fault. It's really not. And it's going to work for your good. Because maybe I could have went through it a little bit better had I known that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And the reason why I ask questions like this, because it makes it raw when I say your adolescent self.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's a little girl that's 5 to 9 that look like you and going through something that you're going through.
Right.
And when you say it authentically, that really makes them capture the moment.
Right.
That's why I said, what would you tell the adolescent you? But it's going to affect that little 5 to 9 year girl that look like you now. What about the teen you?
Slow down, mama. Slow down, mama. You know what I'm saying? I probably would tell my teenage self, because that was another one of those turning points that we talked about. And I was looking for a whole lot of everything. Love, Frazier, don't go out today, baby.
Yeah.
Stay in. Stay focused on your schoolwork. That's what I think I would want to tell her.
Yeah.
But then I might not be who I am today. So I probably would tell her, don't spread the love around so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep some of that to yourself, baby. Yeah, because I don't think I talk myself out of situations.
What advice would you tell the young adult you?
So you talking about my 21-year-old self.
This 20s.
Ugh. So my 21-year-old self, and you want me to just be who I was right then, talking to her?
Yep.
That's what the lady with 3 children,
Yep.
high school dropout,
Yep.
felony.
Yep.
Whew. What was gonna I tell me that night? You gonna make it? It's not gonna just end like this. Your children will grow up and they go, I don't know what I would tell her. I don't know what I would tell her because I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I might, if I feel like I'm talking her out of it, you know what I'm saying? I don't
But that's
know.
okay. If you think you should talk out
I
of it.
want her to though, because I want her to be her. Where she at now?
I like that part.
Yeah.
Be you.
Yeah, I want her to be, because I don't think that I would be who I am now had I had those children at that age, dropped out of high school with a felony.
Yeah.
So what could I tell her? I don't think I ever want to tell any stage of their life really is just don't quit.
I like it.
Yeah, that's all I want to tell my younger self. Even though I didn't quit, I did mentally.
Yeah. And assurance is the key.
That's it.
Yeah. Sometimes that assurance to somebody else to say it. Yeah.
So that's all I would want to tell my 5-year-old self, my teenage self, my 21-year-old self. You're going to make it.
Yeah.
Don't quit. Don't tune out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go on through it. Just go on through it.
Because I look at how, in the midst of all my struggles, sometimes I was just looking for somebody to understand. Yeah, just somebody to say it. I believed it, but all my trauma was speaking louder sometimes than that inner voice that was inside of me because it was so weak, so vulnerable. So if I just had somebody else to truly say it, I think it would make all the difference.
And I think that's kind of what, I'm going to say the Lord, sends those people along your walk. So like, you know, like in 4th grade, you might have a teacher. You're leading, you're getting your pat on your back. I think you can do it. Then in 8th grade, you might have had somebody on your block.
Yeah.
You know, but along the way, you'll get it every now and then from somebody who sincerely cared. And that's what kept pushing you. When you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're right. You're so right.
Tell me this, how come you stay so rooted in community work? Because I was looking at your bio, everything was community. Everything was advocacy. Everything was youth development. How come you stay so rooted in that?
Because for me, I knew what I needed. And so even when I started kicking with Jesus and the people would come over, I found it to be good. They'd get a meal. They'd learn about different drugs, what it do to you. But I'm telling them to let go of addiction and don't have anything for them to fall back on.
Gotcha.
So then you trying to let the drugs go. Because that was an issue for me. If we could just stay right here for a minute. Once I stopped going out, I would have a little pocket change, right? And I didn't know how to spend it.
Right.
Because I was used to balling.
Yeah.
That way. You know what I'm saying? So now I got this extra money that I'm not spending. And I'm like, how do you spend money?
Yeah.
Really? You know what I'm saying? And then when I went without a job, I'm like, what am I supposed to do to get money? Because all I know how to get money is to get out here and get money. You know what I'm saying? So when I started doing Kicking with Jesus, I was like, I'm telling these people, they trying to get off. I hear they're hard, but they ain't got no job. So they can go in, they can hustle, they can do this and do that. And that's how I started community work. So I started calling. I didn't know anybody. I wasn't going to the church I was at now. I would call DCC. I'll call the workforce. I'd be like, hey, I'm over here by Cardinal Village. I did have Constance Covington.
Yeah.
So I would go and ask her a little question. I'd be like, hey, you think I could do something for Kicking with Jesus? She was my first board member.
Okay.
Yep, she made my flyers for me. She made me feel so important, like it was major, you know. And I would call people and say, can you come to Cardinal Village and set up? And I ate Coplins. Oh, can you donate soups? I just ask people for stuff. I didn't know these people. And they would do it. They would do it. And so that's what made me start community. So that way when they were getting off drugs or even thinking about it, then they had something to fall back on. Just a hope. Then I can go to DCC because they told me you really can start with this and you can afford it. And that's how I started. They never stopped.
I love it. So how hard was it, though, to do Kicking with Jesus, living in the neighborhood, what you talked about a little bit, and bringing resources? Because a lot of times when you bring resources to the neighborhood, they don't think they resources. They're like, oh, Shakeva got hanging over. So how did you do all that?
So I'll be letting my folks know.
Okay.
So they're just from Compton. I include everybody. So like, this is for us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't want it, don't mess up for everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
This for us. You don't want to mess up for everybody else. But this is one thing I will say. I remember when I started doing that, it was a young man. Oh, girl. When I say about that life, I know about that life. And I ain't glamorizing it.
Yeah.
Thinking. So one day he outside and he, oh, yeah. Your pop's gone, they gone. Oh, we ready to turn up. This the block now. This, he said, my house gonna be the house where with the body coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I said, look, I ain't doing that no more, right? I said, do me this favor. I said, please. I said, you knew my daddy, you know my grandma, you know me. I said, I want my children to see something different. I want them to see something we ain't had before. I said, so what I want you to do, when they getting off the school bus, I don't want no boys outside my house with their pants sagging. I don't want y'all with no bill bottles out here, and I don't want nobody cranking.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody selling nothing on this top of this block at all. I said, let my children have that experience.
Yeah.
I want them to feel like they're in Bel Air when they get off the bus. Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, when my kids get off the bus, I see them already before they start. Go down the street and tell everybody, clear the block.
Clear the block.
Go down the street. Shakeva was there, and they done it. And they done the whole time I lived there. When I started doing Kicking with Jesus, they'll come set my size out for me.
Oh,
Go down the
wow.
street and crank, but they ain't go to the street. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? People really do have good hearts. They do what they do sometimes. We see their actions and don't know why they doing it. His mama been in jail all her life.
Right.
All his life.
Right.
Mama was raising him. His daddy went around. He hustled. He fought. He shot. But his heart. Because when I say, hey, send myself a Kicking with Jesus. I can't smoke no cigarette on church grabbing Shakeva. Hold on a minute. Run to the street. He just ran about 3 minutes.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've been out here in these streets, but you don't want to smoke a cigarette on church ground.
That's respect.
Because your heart feel
Yeah.
some kind of awe towards the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So really, it wasn't that hard to bring them over because most of those folks, they had good hearts.
Yep.
I talked to the heart of the man, you know what I'm saying? And we got it done.
And I think that's really true when they say, when you're doing community work, do it with the community.
That's
And
right.
that's why, because you see it differently.
Right.
And I think it's important for people that don't have that perception.
Right.
You see the purpose, the heart
Right.
of people, and not what society has said,
Right.
who they are and what they should be or what they are and all that stuff. So how did you balance, because you talked about it a little bit, but let's get deeper into it. How did you balance living in poverty
Okay.
and doing nonprofit work? Because a lot of people don't say that. They was like, oh, Shakeva done made it. We talked about that earlier. But how did you balance all that when you living in that place and you telling people that change gonna come, but it ain't came for you yet.
Right.
But you speaking it. How did you live it and still push that nonprofit mindset?
So to me, you just said the word mindset. So my children were a great help. And so even with us being poor, which I'm just almost out of poverty now, I'm being real, you know what I'm saying? They see me out here and think I've been making something just look good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Got little stores I can shop at, make me look real
Yes.
for a low price. But with my children being able to work with me, we didn't see it that way because we knew where we came from. So they were so happy to have me there that it didn't really seem like unbalanced.
Right.
So getting out here in the community, my children will go with me. When we're cleaning up the neighborhood, my children clean it with me. We're going to nursing homes, my children get on the bus, they're going with me. So it really wasn't hard. And I didn't have money to start the nonprofit. I sold plates.
Yeah.
I got food stamps.
Yeah.
I brought groceries.
Yeah.
And I made real plates, hamburger, hot dogs. My children to cook with me, and they set up outside. The people down the street, who the people talk about,
Right.
those were the ones who was buying the food. And I said, this for us, our neighborhood, to have a nonprofit.
Exactly.
So they can be able to bring more stuff over here. And that's how I went. So the balance was really just involved. As long as I had my children, that worked. It was a lot of tears
Yeah.
because I wasn't the person, per se, that should have been doing it. So it was a lot of rejection on some levels, even rejection that wasn't said, that was felt.
Yep.
When you're in certain rooms and you're trying to introduce your ideals, you get denied by certain, grantees, Grand Hill. But my children and my folk, they were a great help. And so that was the balance because it was like a team. You know what I'm saying? The balance was bringing them with me, so I didn't have to try to stretch everywhere and to make it work. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that what keeps the grind when you have people that's in it with you,
Right.
grinding with you.
That
That makes a difference, and that makes you want to do it even more. That makes you want it because the ones that need the help is the ones working to get the help. And I think that's what makes it so impactful. Because when you can turn back and say, I did that, and did nobody give me that.
Right.
I worked hard, especially when you told me no.
Right.
That makes that all the difference.
And the thing about that team as well is when you do want to give up, that team will be the one to be like, no, you can't today. So like when I want to, throw it in, it might be a little man walking down the street drinking a 40 ounce. I like that work you're doing for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And my daughter came to your last event. Keep up the good work. Just simple stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it motivates you because that's the team.
And then another thing, when you got your kids with you, it's hard to say I give up when they looking right there, big-eyed and looking and waiting to see what you gonna do next.
Is. And I have done it though. I have sat and cried and said, "This ain't for me.
Yeah.
This ain't for me." And they say, "Yes, it is."
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Because we know.
What you need us to do, Mom. We'll write the post out today.
Yeah.
We'll stand outside and tell people to come in for Kick It with Jesus.
Yeah.
Mom.
I
I
love
did it. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Why do you feel people are so comfortable around you and willing to open up to you? I know why I feel the way I did, but you tell me why people like, oh yeah, that's Shakeva. Because I get that.
Script again. Say this one more time. I go to Chicago to a game conference, the game training.
Yeah.
Right. So look, we at the game training conference. We okay. Everything all right with the fam? Okay, look, we're at the game training, all right. So we go to the Chicago White Sox game. So it's all kind of people there, right? So the guy turned around, he said, "What you do?" I said, "I work at Danville, I said, "What you do?" He said, "Well, I am an undercover agent. I go around and I buy stuff for people and I turn around and buzz." And you're like, "What the F? Why did I just tell you that? I never told anybody that." So like, I got my coworkers with me, like, "I don't know." I said, "It's just something about me." I said, "But I don't know you, you know me, so we good." But he like, "I never effing," he got tattoos everywhere. He like, "I never ever say that. When made me tell you that?" I like, "It's just something about it. I don't know what it is."
Yeah.
It's just that thing.
You just got the secret potion.
That's what it is. People look at me like, I really don't like you.
But
I be like, "That's cool though. I'm
Yeah.
glad you told me." Like, I'm glad to know that. But we still cool.
Yeah.
People just tell me stuff on
And then another thing, I think you carry the energy of it don't matter.
I'ma still love you, baby.
I'ma still love you. It don't matter. Been there, done that. It is what it is.
And I'm being me.
And you being you.
So that also makes people open because I'm just who I am, right? And that ain't all good. It ain't all
Right.
bad either. Though.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's nothing, we go to school to get degrees or whatever,
Right.
but sometimes it's not the script. It's just it's the DNA. Yep, it's the DNA.
Camel said, "If you got it, you got it." I can't get these photos.
I see, ain't mad. Look, I got off track now. Keeping it real.
Okay.
Okay, tell me, what does advocacy mean to you?
Okay. Well, I work with a lot of young people. So for me, it just means being a voice because one thing that I experienced a lot through life, and I'm just shaking that off close, when I got in my 40s, is intimidation. Being a young person, showing up at social services, asking for help when I don't want to ask, and then you talk to me any kind of way, like I'm supposed to know what's going on when you the one that work here.
Right.
Or going out and needing something in a community for my children, and you talk to me any kind of way in front of them and stuff like that, and then not having that voice. So my dream was to be a lawyer.
Okay.
I go to school to be a lawyer. I actually started, and then I got that felony, and I was told I couldn't take certain classes. So I think this is me living my dream on the
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine,
That's what
yeah.
advocating is for me, and it's being a voice and fighting for those persons because I know what it feels like to feel intimidated.
Yeah.
So I just try to be a voice and speak up and use what I have and use my sense that I've learned from past experience and just through school.
Yeah.
Things for others until they get strong enough to you need to because I can't keep being your voice now. You gotta keep
Yeah.
your voice after a while.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so why is being a community organizer so important to you, though? Why is it so important to be the voice?
Wait a minute. So let me tell you something. This guy done this newspaper article, right? And I guess titles matter.
Yeah.
So I never named myself that, right? He was like, "I gotta have a title to call you." I was like, "Just call me Frazier," because
Yeah.
I love Frazier. I like call me Frazier. I like call me Frazier. And he was like, "But I gotta have a title. I gotta have a title. I'm just gonna call you community organizer."
Okay.
So that's what it is. But I don't even know what that is. So don't even know what that is.
And I didn't even know that you had a title called community organizer. It's just a question.
That was years ago. The guy did an interview on me. He was like, he was doing an interview. He was like, I need to have a title to put with your name. I was like, I don't got one. Just a person. He was like, but I need a title. He's like, I'm going to call you community organizer.
Okay, Frazier.
I love Frazier.
I see. Okay.
What is community organizer?
So it's just like people who advocate for the community and do the community work authentically. That's my definition of it.
Okay.
That you organize change within your community.
Oh, that sounds so structured. That's good.
Now, what Webster say? I don't know, but we're going to go with the flow. It sounds good.
Yeah, I like that.
Maybe.
Okay.
Okay, so tell me, when we start talking about lane driven, because I'm a firm believer of staying in your lane. Doing community work, we know it can spruce out into many different advocacies. What does it look like when we say, okay, is Shakeva civic today? Is it health today? Is it education today? Is it youth development today? How do you select when and where to plug in, when to say no, and when to say yes?
So for me, I would just say, is Shakeva people today?
Okay.
That's all I got. Because people need some help with education today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to help the people that need the help.
Mm-hmm.
The people need some help with learning how to sign up for mental health classes. I'm going to go there. The people need help with unemployment. That's where I'm at. So it's really like the lane is people.
Yeah. And I like that, people. The lane is people, because a lot of times that's what draw people to you. Because if I don't know the answer.
That's all I was just going to say. I don't know the answer. I'm going to call Sean. I'm going to call what you call it.
Yeah.
I'm going to call what you call it. I know somebody work there though.
Yeah.
I don't know about it, but I can. And if we can't get it, then we can find. But that's it.
Yeah. I like that. My lane is people.
Yeah.
Being a Black female, coming from where you're coming from, how do you navigate in those places and spaces that aren't diverse? And a lot of times interacting with those people who once upon a time told you no.
Woo. So, hey. Yeah. Well, last year. So why you gotta ask that?
I don't know, because that's what the people got to know. The people got to know.
It's not a damn deal.
No, he ain't going to put you out of damn field. I'm advocating.
Being in those places, last year, I won a 2023 partnership award with the police department.
Okay.
Organized. Oh, God. It was terrifying because of my past.
Yeah.
And because of what the police department has always looked like to me.
Right.
Before I put it that way. It was very unfair here. Very unjust because I've been on both sides.
Yeah.
So to be on one side, and no, I wasn't doing the right thing all the time, but I always done work. So, I still was working, but I would see things. And even as a police officer, it's the way you have to approach people because we still were human.
Right.
And then when I get saved and I'm in these different settings and I see the same officers that just 3 years ago, I heard it when you was calling people names on the block.
Right.
I know this ain't the protocol you're supposed to do because now I'm in your office.
Right.
I know this ain't how you, but you're different now.
Right.
But that's because I'm in a different setting. So are you really different or you just you are here and who you are there? So for me, that was one of the strange places for me to be in because, I go to Bible Way and Bishop Campbell's a big civil rights advocate. He never stopped.
Right.
So he's always trying to organize community law enforcement partnership days, different things. And to be in these rooms with people who judge me based on my daddy, my family, and what they knew. Everything won't false. You know what I'm saying? It was really weird, but I had to know that I've been called to these places and these tables, and that helped me to not really judge them and keep that thing in my heart where I wouldn't give them a chance to grow because grace wanted me. And eventually, we'll learn to understand each other. It was a lot of hard conversations that was had, a lot of carpet pulling that I did. I have conversations like, I remember you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it's began to work to people who said that. Grace, the same grace I was given is what I showed.
Okay.
And so that's what I would say for that, being in these places where I was denied once upon a time. and things like that. Jobs that wouldn't hire me, that then people work there need to come ask me something for some advice.
Right.
Because of where I'm at now. You understand? And grace.
Yeah. I like that. So how do you navigate being the only? Whether it's female, whether it's black and female, how do you navigate in those spaces? Because the reason why I always try to ask this question throughout this series, because I have a lot of girls who's now going into the workforce, whether they leaving high school going into the workforce or they leaving college going to the workforce. And the positions and stuff that they're applying for, we started from the bottom, worked our way up. Young people think different. They was like, I'm going to go apply.
Right.
And they get the positions, don't get me wrong, but they struggle with navigating of being the only. And sometimes it causes them to tap out or go into that low space. So that's why I try to always ask this question, because a lot of times it's not for us.
Right.
Because we built different.
Right.
Than young people built today. So how do you navigate in that?
So mindset, for one thing. I think the only way we begin to make change is to make it with ourselves first. So like, I'll sit on a Rotary. I'm on a board. I'm in a Wednesday club, different things like that. So my grandmother, she always clipping. So when I first got into the Rotary, I told my grandma, and I was like, it's not many of me in there. She was like, stop thinking like that. She was like, you got to change the way you're seeing it. We already fought that battle. That's what she told me. She said, and then you're in the room and you still fighting a battle that you really don't have to fight anymore.
Yeah.
So even though I feel some things,
I know, I see. You love me.
Rotary love me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's just the way that you perceive. When you go into a room and you're the only, and that's the first thing you think, I'm the only, you already done put up a whole mechanism.
Yeah.
So you already coming on defensive. Anything somebody say to you, you will take it extra sensitive in the way it really is, instead of just maybe put on the mindset, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And it's just me right now. Most of my issue, since you said we could be real, it's not being the only. It's being, if it's two of us in there.
Yeah.
Because then that's when the issue will become, because most of the stuff that I see with the conflict is amongst people that look like me.
Yeah, because I talk a lot of that with Dr. Monica Motley, because a lot of times we're used to being the only. So then when another person come in the room that look like you, become territorial.
Right.
And he's like, how do I balance this?
Right.
And I really think it's important to have those conversations outside the room.
Right.
And that's one thing that I see that it's not a lot of.
It's not
a lot of conversations outside of the room. So how do we navigate in spaces and places where it's two of us, instead of me trying to fight the battle of being the only now? Because like your grandma said, a lot of times it's not always the case.
It's not.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was coming in, it was a lady that's has a lot of popularity here, and I could tell that she wanted it. She older, generations older, but she didn't want any of this to come.
Yeah.
Why? It's enough for us all. And one thing that I do try to do when I go to women's conferences or I speak, I always speak on lynch law.
Yeah.
And I say, Danville, we practice it so heavily. And I tell them what lynch law is.
Right.
Put the light skin against the black.
Mm-hmm.
Put the long hair against the short hair. The coarse hair against the straight hair. The big butt against the small butt. I said, we got that mindset so much. If we start to unravel that, Danville women,
Yes.
we would be so much more better and so much more far ahead if we let that go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Learn how to undo that lynch, and then we can have those meetings that
Right.
we have and not leave out feeling like we gonna talk about each other when we
Right.
have the meeting. Then we can actually be vulnerable and stay there.
Yeah. Because one of the things that I advocate for is how to bring more people in the room.
Right.
And I talk about it all the time when we talk about board metrics, who's missing or whatever. And my list is always full of qualified, if not overqualified, Black women, because I feel like it's now my job, since I'm in the room and we're not fighting that battle anymore.
Right.
I'm in the room, so who else need to be in here that's qualified? And a lot of times they feel like, oh, we just gonna make checking the box of diversity. No, we're changing the thought process. We bring in qualified people who got a space and place in the community and that can advocate for change that is necessary.
And that's why I like this series that you're doing.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, I don't think I would have seen this coming if it had not been for you, because
Yeah.
it just got to be me
Yeah.
right there. And that's not how you've been in any space I've noticed that you
Yeah.
always leave open doors.
Yeah.
And you always embrace who you are, and you want others to embrace
Who they are. Yeah.
no matter what level they are.
Because that's necessary.
Right.
That's necessary. Who you are is important, and who you are is what we need a lot of times.
Right.
And when we start looking like each other and become that mannequin, or we start becoming the duplicates of each other, that's where it's paused, and that's where change stops. And that's why I said, why you can't just be authentically you, and why we can't make room for all. And that's the conversation that I feel like I'm constantly having, that we need to have spaces for all, and it's okay. And it's okay.
Club sister over here, she came to Wednesday Club, and when she presented, she talked about everything that's going on in every district. And buddy, when she got to speaking about the Black women in the region and the thing that you were doing down here and how much it excites her and the things that she's learning, she was so hyped. And I think it was just about 2 of us in the room, but it was accepted, you know, and she wasn't ashamed to give it. And we talking about in the club that, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes we got a perception that's really not even, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's important, and not to say that it has disappeared, but it's important to start feeling like bigger conversations.
That's right.
We need to have bigger conversation. How can we get more community people involved? Because I do struggle with that. Like, they'll talk to me, but when I say come to the meeting, they're like, oh, see, no, you're doing too much. How do we get more community people involved in the work? Because we know that's the important piece.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that thing of intimidation again. And so when we were organizing the partnership day over at the church, I would tell my bishop, I say, it's nice that we were bringing the people here, but most of the time, if you want people to be involved, you got to go where they at. And you got to have outdoor. Some about people just being outdoors.
Yeah.
If you have an outdoor open event, people feel more freer, safer, especially talk about, because sometimes the people that's doing the work are not the people that show up at the table.
Yeah.
The people that show up at the table want taking the credit for the work that's being done in their community. But the people that's really putting the feet to the ground, you're not going to see them.
Yeah.
You have to go to where they at, maybe walk them down the sidewalk with them, talk to them while y'all walking, and maybe bring their ideas back.
Yeah.
Or make something where they at for them to do. That's the only way I can see. Because when you talk community, it's so many levels of community.
Yeah.
Like you said, you got grassroots.
Yeah.
Then you have, your organizational tables. You have so many levels. So it just depends on when you're saying make them more active in what area, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
You say community work.
And I think it's important to educate.
Right.
Because a lot of times people don't really fully understand what I'm talking about. So I really try to make it my mission to educate so they don't feel like they walking in a room cold turkey and going to be attacked, or their question going to be asked and they don't know the answer to. You are in this space because you're qualified to be in this space, regardless of your zip code, and I think that's important to have that conversation. And you talked about Bishop Campbell a lot, and I'm not a member, by the way, but I've had a couple of one-on-ones with him because I do the community work. And one thing that he used to always tell me in those one-on-one meetings, that don't change.
That's it.
Don't change. He was telling me that. And I was like, you sure you know who you talking to? He was being
All the community law enforcement days.
And he would tell people to call me, and they was like, Bishop Campbell. And I was like, yeah, they got the wrong number. They're trying to reach. He was like, nope, be you.
That's it.
Yeah, be you. So I do think that's important, that we start expressing that and educating that you are important, just who you are.
That's it.
And that's why it's important for you to be in this space.
And that's why you can get the people to do community workshops.
Yeah.
They gonna come. They'll help you.
Yeah, that's what I'm praying for. Okay, so I looked at your bio, and you have received numerous awards for the work that you do. So how does that make you feel when somebody say, we honoring Shakeva Frazier?
I be crying.
I know.
I be crying. I just be in shock, really. And really, I just take it for that moment, and I don't really get too wrapped up in it. Because, you can be trained to knowing that when something good, something bad will happen.
Yeah.
So I try to think that way, but most of my life has been that way.
Yeah.
Now it's been a smooth sail, but I'm still like, that boogeyman gonna pop out somewhere.
Yes.
So I just don't get wrapped up in it. I take it. Thank you so much. Thank you, children. And I put it up.
Yeah.
I keep moving.
And why we can't celebrate though?
Because I'm scared.
I know. And that's the question. And I liked it that you called that. I'm going to start calling that the boogeyman syndrome.
Yeah, buddy. Ain't even there, is it? invisible. Just something invisible that's plaguing.
The boogeyman syndrome.
Just wait for that boogeyman to pop up. Boogeyman.
Like, when we gotta do better. That's the whole thing. Cause you're not the first person that said it, and I feel it too. It's like, okay, when is everything gonna go crushing down? And another thing that I really struggle with, that I see that you thrive in it, but maybe it's just a struggle for you too, that when I'm making it, I feel like it's so easy, it becomes fearful. And it was like, wait a minute, why is it? Yeah, because we'll talk about the new job that you got later, and they was like, well, how's she gonna balance that? I said, because she's Shakeva. She can get it done, but they was like, well, how she's gonna do that? How in the world? And I was like, that's her problem to figure out. But she got it, that's what we do. But that boogeyman is always there for us. Yeah, we need
to sit on that board. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, just talk about some of the awards then, just receiving those, like, like I said, I took them. But with these other things, I just get on to the next part.
Okay, so
get right there.
Yeah, so one of the things that I really want to talk about, I know I saw your bio that you did down with church-based tutorials.
That's right.
And then you also working with gang prevention.
Right.
But you got a new position.
I do.
Congratulations, and tell us about it.
So, as you know, because you was in the room, I've been asked to be the executive director of Third Chance Housing Ministry.
Congratulations.
I am so elated. And of course, when they once again told me about it, asked me about it, asked me how much I want to make. They said I gave the lowest price on the spectrum, beat myself down again. And when they gave me the job and gave me the price they gave me, I got to get out my car on the highway. I pulled over, started shouting and crying. But I was like, this is a setup. That's what I was saying in my mind. I'm like, this is a setup. They trying to find something on me. Because why they going to give me this? They can get this. They trying to set me up. You know, my mind couldn't really take it, but I know that it's part of the plan. But still, I couldn't even celebrate it because the boogeyman, like, girl, they trying to get you. They want to see you fall, so they giving you more and more so you can fall. That's crazy. Yeah. And I'm a fighter, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. I'm going to show them.
That's why. That's why. And look, so that's your whole perspective. Me being a board member, and I'm looking through it, and I was like, check that box, check that box, check that box. I was like, she qualified for this, but it ain't my business, And other parts of it that I can't talk as a board member, it just all fell into place too. Right. That's when I say, so when God is moving and when you moving, it all aligns up and it all becomes purpose. And I can personally say that you're qualified to be the executive director for Third Chance Housing. And I think it's a lesson learned when we start talking about salary, that God will put people in the room to be the voice for you when you can't even be it for yourself. Because of that boogeyman syndrome, it's like, I'd rather get the job and show them and then get the pay than say that my resume shows me that I'm more than qualified to get the pay that I want,
That's exactly what I say. I said I'm going to take the low pay. I took the lowest of the lowest. Bottom stone. I said, I'm going to work myself up. To that. That's exactly what I said. When they called me, I was like, what? They're like, you qualified.
Yes.
I was like, what?
And I was like, what is this? This don't make sense. And other people in the room was like, yeah, we got to fix this, So
the boogeyman.
I like it. Yeah. But he advocate, God advocate.
That's probably because what we make happen for others, God make happen for us. So I advocate out here, and somebody advocating over there for me.
And this goes right into the next question. Okay. How do you speak up in those boardrooms, especially being female, Black, and both? Yeah. How do you speak? How do you speak up? Because I've seen you speak up. You be like, you do it like this. Okay, y'all, wait a minute. What makes you speak up?
This thing in me, right? I be like, bang, don't do it. I'm talking to the thing, be like, And then it says something like, girl, you better do it. That's why you at this table.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Now, before we go that far, I think that, wait a minute, because we got to, and then when I leave, I be like, oh, Lord, they're going to never invite me back anymore. I had to fight with myself all the way home. There you go.
Yeah.
Angry Black woman. Yeah. All that. I got to fight all those stigmas that come in my mind.
Yeah.
On the way home. But at that moment, I'm here.
Now, I just said it now. Yeah.
I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna fight.
And then when they say, I was just thinking that.
Girl, for real. I'm so happy. Got the partner tap in, baby, tap in. But yeah, I just share it. It's not easy. It's not easy, but I know that I'm gonna die. I'm gonna leave this side of the earth. So while I'm here, and I know I'm living on grace.
Yeah.
Because like I said, my story, I was praying for death.
Yeah.
Right? So the Lord saved me. So when I'm at those tables, I ain't got time to wait.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm leaving here one day. So I better do work while I'm here.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get it off the chest, and I just deal with me on the way home.
I love it.
Okay.
What do you think about the economic advancements you see going on in Danville?
Jeez. Let me say something. Grandma, if you watch this, forgive me. My grandma real saved, right? She done went, told people they devils. She done doing all the new property. She done walked around with the oil and everything. Girl, see? She done walked with the owners. If y'all see my grandma, don't be mad to my grandmother. My grandma been out here in these streets. She been busy.
Yeah.
Y'all to death. Y'all to death, you know. And I'm saying they bring it to the
Stuff here.
for the next generation. Might not be the way you want it to look, but just really an answer prayer.
Right.
Whatever changes, there'll be some pros that come.
Right.
Everybody, you know what I'm saying? That's just any shift that come. It's going to be some pros and it's going to be some cons. That's just the way it is. It's going to always be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Hope I'm never the end is being sacrificed the wrong way, but that's just how it is.
Yeah.
In the game of life. And what I see coming here is not more for me that I'm excited for. It's for my children and my grandchildren. Because Danville been dead for years. Excuse me, Mel. Danville been dead for years, you know. She can't stay here. Sleep it out.
No, we
You
not.
know, as far as some of the stuff, you know. And I said we haven't been looking for a way back.
Yeah.
But it was just hard because we got flags flying everywhere.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of mindsets here.
Yeah.
Just been dead. You know, like,
And a lot of times when I start talking about economic advancement and I say I'm from Danville, that's the first thing people say. And they was like, y'all coming up. But they remember where we were. And you can't say one without the other. And I think it's important because it shows that there are beginning to be diverse rooms. There are beginning to be diverse conversations. We got a long way to go. Nobody's not spouting it, but we in it. And I think it's important for us to be valuable in saying this is what we want our community to look like, and not fighting against about, oh, it's changing and it's going too fast.
people go get put out of this. Look.
What do we gotta do?
Right.
What do we gotta do?
Think about where we at right now.
Yeah.
You couldn't even walk on this sidewalk.
Yeah.
You know, 50, 60 years ago. Now you in here interviewing women of the year and whatever else that's making change. I love what's coming. And
Yeah. And we're going to do the work to make sure that everybody that look like us, whether it be race or gender, is included. I'm going to do my part.
That's right.
I'm going to do my part. Okay, what are some of the gaps, though? We talked about we want to see change, it's growing.
Right.
What are some of those gaps?
So for me, I think understanding mindsets, us understanding one another, even if it's black on black, white and black, and then we have another whole culture of people coming in.
Yeah.
And so I think the gaps is because we got a lot of new coming in, and you got some real old that's been here, and then you have these mindsets like yours that's in the middle that want to change, that want to see the change here and bring people to the table. I don't think all of these have
The links are not connected.
So even though we're doing a great thing, it feel like, but they claim it was a long time ago, separate but equal.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that way. It's never can be separate and equal. You got to come together.
Right.
And so I think when the minds come back together again, where we could be more community, because I do see this going into like a big city.
Yeah.
And most big cities, they are very distant.
Yeah.
You know, we all living together, but we all very distant. We don't know our neighbor anymore.
Yeah.
Or I'm walking downtown, I don't know 85 of the people I seen.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of different mindsets I'm walking by. And so I think that's going to be a gap for us that we're going to have to learn how to make these new people feel a part of the community, as well as let these people know you're still a part of the community. Just because we changed don't mean we're leaving y'all behind. And it'll help us who in the middle of it not tie y'all and burn out before we get that right accomplished, of connected.
I love it. I love it. Yes, we got it. Okay. Tell me about some of the work that you do with Project Imagine, because I do think that's important.
Okay.
And I wanted to be in this shot.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
So Project Imagine, you know, it was the Youth and Gang Violence Prevention Program when it first came. Robbie David ran it for quite a few years by himself. He was able to hire 2 outreach workers. In the beginning, it was me and Curtis.
Yeah.
And what we do, we go through, we find students, or students come to us by referrals, who are either in gang activity, gang related, or going through things at school, truancy, probation and parole can refer them, different entities. And we take them through this 5-day course, 15 hours. And once we take them through there, we kind of work with them.
Right.
We're not a mentor program. We go in the home, but we're not in home therapy.
Yeah.
Because we go in the home, we see something totally different than in home therapy, probably call the police about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're going in to let that child know you're not going through this by yourself. Something that I can remember growing up, I grew up in a very tumultuous home. I couldn't stand for social services. I couldn't stand for teachers to tell me that they're going to take me out my situation, and they never came through.
Right. Right.
They never came through. So I told you what was going on in my home, and you left me there.
Yeah.
Then you wonder why I'm so angry when I come to school. So I never make that promise to my students.
Yeah.
I never tell them I'm going to take you out of there. I'm going to go through with you.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We go through with you. But we give you resources while we're going through with you. We try to introduce you to mental health while we're going through with you. We try to introduce you to ways of self-worth while we're going through with you. Things like that. So Project Imagine is going to go through with you.
Right.
That's what I
And I like that. And people probably say, well, what they got to do with it? It has a lot to do with economic development.
Right.
It has a lot to do with the community advancement.
That's right.
Because if we can teach a kid how to be in the workforce
That's right.
and not in the prison,
That's right.
I think that's what's important.
That's right.
Because we don't want our incarceration rate to be higher than our
That's
work
right.
placement rate.
That's right.
And especially when we start talking about young people
That's right.
and black and brown kids.
And they will come out here and get your stuff. And not just them, the white folk will too.
Yeah.
You know, and then they come out here and get your stuff if they don't have a job.
Right.
So we try to make them not get your stuff by giving them some stuff.
Yeah.
And put them in a workforce program.
Exactly.
Vintage has let young people work there. We pay them $12 an hour. A lot of mom and pop stores here.
Yeah.
You know, barbershops. We ask them, can our young people work at your store? We'll pay y'all for that.
Right.
They don't have any taxes come off. Most of them are in poverty. You know, if you're working and you're in housing,
Yeah.
it changes your rent income for your parent. This doesn't affect your parents' rent income or anything like that, you know.
Yeah.
So that's also something that they get to put some money in their pocket, tax exempt. They don't get the taxes don't come off of it. I will say this is New Year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Friday will be my last day of Project Imagine. I'm
Okay.
stepping down, yes, so that I can affect when they serve Project Imagine.
You're right.
And Third Chance.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm community liaison for Project Imagine. And so community liaison mean I was just out making resources now. I started off as an outreach worker.
Yeah.
So now all I do is network to bring in resources. I feel like I can serve better from the outside.
Yeah.
And do Third Chance more effectively.
Yeah.
And so this will be my last year.
Yeah, so I don't know how to put it, but
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I think that's important to see that when it's time to move forward.
Right.
I'm all for that, and I think your heart for it don't go away.
No, not at all.
It's just not, you don't have that title, but you're still doing the work,
Doing
and you're gonna always be doing the work.
That's what
Yeah.
matters.
Okay, so we talked about that. Couple more questions. How do you motivate people? How do you motivate?
Loving the people, right? So I just be happy with them. Like, okay,
Can you want to go ahead and do it?
girl, I see the best in the people.
Yeah.
I be loving the people, like for real. Like I love people. Maybe that comes from something back in my background or something. But
Yeah.
my daddy used to tell me, Shakeva, whenever we go out, places to walk the streets with him. He goes, you know. So I walk and go with him place to place. And I see when we sit certain places, my daddy used to always sit down with people. He loved to talk. And one day when we was leaving somebody, he said, I don't care if it's a drunk. I don't care if they crying. I don't care what they got. He said, you sit down, you look them in the eye, and if it's a man, you treat him like a man. I don't care if he's drinking. I don't care if he's on drugs. He's still a man at the end of the day. You talk to that part of him. If they want to cry, you cry with that part of them. And that's just, he taught me how to look in people. And that's just something I always have seen. And so I love to do it. And so that's just what we at.
So 50% of my job is the redevelopment of North Main.
Okay.
What do you see coming from the root of Danville as the possibilities for North Main?
It's starting to look good. I know I got a decorator up there. I just left Moon River. I had food. That's why I had lunch at today. I see it as becoming Actually, the way you've been promoting it, to be very honest, you know, with me working with gang prevention, one of the biggest things was North Side versus South Side.
Yeah.
It's always been that split. I'm starting to see togetherness come, where it's not so much a North Side, it's just I'm going on North Main.
Yep.
It's not even I'm calling it North Side anymore. I'm going to the North now to get something to eat. I'm like, I'm going to North Main to get me something to eat.
Yeah.
You know, and that's major for me because I'm from the South Side.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? But now I don't see it as North Side. I just be going on North Main.
Yep.
Give me something to eat, and I feel comfortable.
I love it.
So somebody's bridging something right there to let me feel that, because I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah. How do you pass the baton, especially going to those next levels? The work that you was doing before, that work is still need to continue.
That's right.
So how do you pass that baton, though? It's important.
That's right. So actually, when I was at lunch, it was an intentional lunch. Talking to the young lady who's working there now.
Yeah.
And giving her some tips. We've been doing it all last week. But even before this, before I even got this job, whenever I'm doing something, I'm prepping my young people.
Yeah.
I'm giving them, my dad would let me be with him a lot when I was young. And everywhere we go was a lesson. Sweetheart, look at this.
Yeah.
Sweetheart, watch this. And that's the way I do my children.
Yeah.
I want them to fall in. But that's the way I do other people around me. So wherever I'm at, I'm already leaving doors open.
I love it.
I'm already prepping.
I love it.
Because I told y'all I'm going to die one day.
That's what I was ready to ask you. What's your legacy that you want to leave behind? That's the next question.
Let me see. My legacy that I want to leave behind is go forward. Do it. Just like Nike. Give me some money, Nike.
No.
Just do it.
Yeah.
That's my legacy I want to leave behind. I know you're talking about when they think about me and what, you know, what they supposed to say and how they supposed to feel and what I'm going to leave for my kids.
No.
Best thing I can leave for them is some good wisdom. Yeah. If I give them some money, they will spend it on whatever they want to spend it on, like they do now.
Yeah.
And so I know if I'm dead, they're going to do it. So wisdom. So yeah, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Go for it. Be you.
Yeah.
It all had to happen for a reason, but go for it. Just do it.
I love it.
Just do it.
One more question.
Oh, Lord. I ain't getting married yet.
No. That was not my question. What is your favorite mantra or quote or scripture?
Oh, all things work together for the good for those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. That's what's up under my thing. When they say purpose rules everything around me, it says Romans 8:28.
Boom. Thank you, Shakeva.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss Frazier.
Okay.
And I'm proud of you. And I'm just sitting back watching.
Oh, Lord.
And I'm just grateful to be in your midst. See y'all next time on True North Speaker Series.